Okay, we're calling to order the planning and zoning meeting for we're pausing for a technical difficulty.
All right, try now.
Is it working?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, again, this is the December 14th meeting of North Branford Planning and Zoning. In attendance, we have a quorum of Paul Marino, Barry Ponder, and I'm Ron Sienna. I'm acting chair for tonight. That being the case, let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, as you know, I rarely chair, and so my style might be a little different than Bob's. So we're looking at item 3, the minutes for October 19th. We don't have all the members to vote on that, so we're going to table it.
Sure. Make a motion.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Okay, moving to public hearing and possible action. Application 2023-17, 121 Mill Road, Zone R40, special use for the construction of an oversized detached garage in the rear. Applicant Joseph and Tracy Bonito.
So why don't we have Barry read the legal notice?
Legal notices.
Yep, I got it.
Okay.
Legal notice, North Branford Planning and Zoning. Notice is hereby given that the North Branford Planning and Zoning Commission will hold a public hearing at 6:30 p.m. on Thursday, December 14th, 2023 at the North Branford Town Hall, 909 Foxen Road, North Branford, Connecticut, to consider the following. A, application number 2023-17-121 Mill Road special use permit under section 44.6.1.f for the construction of an oversized detached garage, 1,896 square feet in rear yard. Owner applicant Joseph and Tracy Benito. B, application number 2023-18, amendment to zoning regulation to add section 39 to establish a multifamily housing district as an overlay zone overlaying an underlying R40 or R80 zone that delineates an area that is suitable for mixed use multifamily residential and small businesses development within a quarter of a bus station or proposed station and adjacent to a state highway. The minimal lot size is 200,000 square feet and maximum density is 220 dwelling units per acre. Applicant, North Branford Planning and Zoning Commission. At this hearing, all interested persons may appear and be heard, and written communication will be received. Copies of proposals are on file for public inspection in the Town Planning Department. Text amendment also available in the Town Clerk's office. Signed, Robert Nowak, Chairman.
Okay, I got a couple of handouts. Okay, public hearing. Do we have any questions before we begin?
No.
The applicant want to say anything about his proposal?
Hi.
Please state, come up to the microphone, state your name and address, please.
Tracy Benito, 121 Mill Road, North Branford. It's my first time doing this. We're looking to put up a oversized garage in the back of our home. It's going to be constructed to look pretty similar to the home we have there now. Just looking to keep everything locked up, neat and clean around the yard. That's it. That's all I have.
And what are you going to use the garage for?
We're going to use it to store equipment, probably put some of our vehicles in there, some of the items we use to conduct business with.
So it's a commercial use or a residential use?
It's residential use, but we do run an HVAC business, so if we have stuff that we have to bring home with us, we're going to put it in there just to keep it off the yard.
Okay. Any questions yet?
No.
Okay, we can open this up for a public hearing. Anyone? You're all set.
I'm all set, thank you.
Anyone else have anything pro or con?
Kirkland Council, 10 Jellstone Way. I guess I can just ask you directly.
I'm
sorry. Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Please.
So our house is somewhat adjacent, like our property kind of abuts like to a certain degree. So I guess I'm just trying to figure out like exactly like how will the garage be situated based on their property and then where our property line is, basically.
I think there would be the setbacks, right?
Does it conform with the setbacks?
You have the site plan?
Yes.
Sure, it's COUNCIL.
Yeah.
So this is Mill Road, just so you have an idea. This is where the end of our property is now, where Mike's gone, and then we start over here. So it's gonna be in this corner. You know where Tony Harrison's house is? It'll be over here in this corner. So you come up our driveway, you can go this way to our house, or continue to come back to the
So this is Tony's house.
Yes. So this is where we have all the shrubbery, and it's gonna be over here.
This is Mike's driveway.
Yes. And that's the,
Yeah.
I think that's where your sewer lines are for you guys. And then this, if I had a neighborhood plan, this is where you.
Does that answer the question?
Yes, thank you.
It is within the setbacks required for the zone.
Okay. Thank you.
This is just so, I mean, it's not gonna have this door, it's just gonna have these, you know, it'll be forward because it's a little great. No problem.
Anyone else want to speak?
Is it just for this application or is it for B as well?
Just this.
Just this application.
Just read.
Anyone else? We need a motion to close the public hearing?
I make a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Do we have any questions about it?
Just the garage, you guys, it's gonna look like the house, siding, not cinder block, right? Yeah, that's what it's
Yeah, no, it's gonna look pretty much like a house.
And my favorite saying, it will be in harmony with the neighborhood.
Yes.
It won't be,
It won't look, yeah, it'll look beautiful, I promise.
okay. We can move on to, so what?
Yeah.
Let's move on to the next public hearing,
And
deal
then
with
we go
that, and
into-
come back and deal with it as old business.
Right. Application 2023-8, amendment to zoning regulations. My opinion, as of right now, seeing how we have a skeleton quorum, I think we should table this and wait for our full committee.
Yes.
We're also waiting for feedback from the South Central Regional Council of Governments. They're going to meet on it next week. They were not able to meet prior to this meeting, so we're waiting for a review from them. In the meantime, you should open the public hearing. I believe there are some people here who would
Yes.
like to speak to it, and we can continue it to the next meeting, and certainly don't need to make a decision immediately, but people are here and we should hear them.
Okay, let's open the public hearing on it. Anyone want to speak? Again, state your name and address.
Yes, hi. I'm Elizabeth Kaplan, 33 Balpy Lane. I'm the Chair of Economic Development. And in your packet, there should be a letter that we have crafted or in support of this text amendment. And would it be possible for you to read the letter out loud into the minutes? Is that possible?
You have copies of it? You want me to read it?
Yeah,
Barry
you
want
can
to
read it.
Yeah, if you want,
Okay.
if you could, please.
Liz, do you want to read it?
Sure.
Why don't you read it?
Okay. Chairman Novak and the members of the Planning and Zoning Commission. The members of the Economic Development Commission are writing this letter to urge you to consider adopting the multifamily TOD overlay zone. We believe that doing so is in line with the town's needs for development goals, as well as the town's plan of conservation and development and affordable housing plan. While housing prices have rebounded since the Great Recession, housing starts have not recovered, resulting in a housing deficit in town and a low vacancy rate, even that precedes the pandemic housing market boom, 2.9% in 2019. We monitor the local real estate market, and it is exceedingly rare to see a home without major issues remain on the market for more than, from one monthly meeting to the next. Even the record high prices and higher interest rates have not dissuaded buyers. At the same time, North Branford has seen a decrease in population and declining enrollment in our schools. Higher prices and high inflation have led to more than 1/3 of the town residents being cost burdened by housing costs in an area where $90,000 is needed to meet the bare essentials. We believe more housing and greater diversity of housing options is part of the solution. Currently, only 14% of the town's housing stock is renter occupied, and the majority was built prior to 1980. At the same time, a smaller rental market has meant that high growth in rents due to demand outstripping supply. Creating a greater variety of housing options will allow us to meet our development needs while diversifying our tax base and meeting our development goals with a lower per capita impact on municipal services. Furthermore, the new residents of a multifamily development will add ancillary benefits to the local economy by patronizing local businesses. This overlay zone includes Clintonville Road, which is identified in both the Plan of Conservation and Development and the Affordable Housing Plan as a priority housing development site. This change would help meet many of the goals outlined in these documents. And I'm not going to read the Affordable Housing Plan because it's on our website, and part of an excerpt is taken from the Plan of Conservation and Development as well. So in conclusion, we believe a growing community is a thriving community. This zone change is a positive step towards meeting our housing and development needs, attracting and retaining younger workers with disposable income, allowing our seniors to age in place, and supporting our largest employers by attracting and developing our local workforce. Accordingly, we would want to express our support for the zone change and urge you to adopt it. Sincerely, the Economic Development Commission. And here tonight, as well as Scott Small and Melissa Pantaleo is our vice chair. So thank you so much for allowing me to read it.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
Did you have any questions?
No.
And we are more than happy to come back at a later date when you do have a full quorum, and we do appreciate that because I think it bears discussion because it's a big project, and we thank you very much.
Yeah, that's correction. We have a full quorum. It's just,
I mean a
it's
full
a
house.
skeleton.
Yes, I understand. Yes, I understand.
Let me ask you a question. Did you do a study? You said that there was less people, in layman's terms, you're saying there's less people in town? I
Yes.
noticed there's a lot more traffic, so were they just cutting through?
I do believe we are a pass-through community. And for example, I work at the high school, and since I started there 15 years ago, we have over 100 less students there.
Okay.
So
And then you were looking to bring in rentals?
we are looking to bring in rentals. This is the Belfonte Company is a high-end developer, and
Where would you put the rentals?
the rentals are going to, it would be on the property near where the ice rink is. This address is right across from Honeywell.
Yeah.
There's an acreage property there, and there have been studies done. Again, I'm sure Mr. Belfonte would be more than happy to come again before P and
How,
Z.
do you have a number in mind of what you wanted to
About
put back there?
130 units. And I believe it's one bedroom and there's studios. I don't know if there's 2 bedrooms. It's been a while since I've looked at the proposal.
So 130 units over there
Mm-hmm.
with the traffic, so you figure 200 cars.
Yeah, we could get you any information that you wish. And yeah, we've met with planning and zoning. I know you weren't on it at that point. Over the last 3 years, we've been kind of kicking this proposal around. And again, the guy's a stellar developer, and they've done their traffic studies and how it would impact Route 22, and it doesn't really seem that it would be impactful in a negative way because some of it could be retirees selling their homes and staying in the community. It is not families with children. These are, this is workforce housing. This is housing that will house workers that will work in the area. So the study that was done is for the amount of units, I think it would be like 5.2 children. I don't know how you get 5.2, but they had a Rutgers study done. And he has something similar, I believe. I don't know if it's Middletown. I know our town manager has gone and visited some of his other properties. So, yeah, so this is working people.
Okay.
All right?
So just to clarify, this is an application for an overlay zone.
Right.
To be created. Once it's created, somebody can come forward and create a site plan and a special permit to actually land the zone.
In that particular area.
And make it happen. So right now, we're just creating the ability
Yeah.
to do something somewhere that meets the criterion of the regulation.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else want to speak on the subject? Okay. I need a motion to close the public hearing.
No, let's keep the public hearing open.
Oh, I'm sorry, that's right. Not thinking. I need a motion to keep the public hearing open until our next meeting.
A second.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to keep the public hearing open until our January meeting.
Paul, second?
A second.
Yeah, I agree also. By then, we should have the SCROD report and more information. So for right now, it's held over to our next meeting. Moving on,
So you can pick up the 121 Mill Road under old
Right.
business at this point?
That would be under old business, or,
Yeah.
okay. Going back to the 2023-17, 121 Mill Road, the oversized garage.
And I gave you a motion.
Yep.
Okay.
I make a motion to approve planning and zoning application number 2023-17, special use permit request under section 44.6.1.f to allow for the construction of an oversized garage in the rear yard at 121 Mill Road, map 30, lot 21A-1, R40 zone. Applicant Joseph and Tracy Benito as described in the submitted applicant document. Reasons for the approval include the proposed detached oversized garage complements the existing property and neighborhood. The proposed garage meets the required zoning setbacks. There is standard conditions. 2, that this approval shall be null and void if construction site improvements are not completed within 5 years of the approval date, effective date, unless time is extended by commission approval as allowed by the Connecticut General Statute.
I'm good.
And I would suggest that you add a following special condition, that the oversized garage is not to be used for commercial purposes.
Yes, and the following special conditions, the oversized garage should not be used for commercial business.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
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 It's carried. Okay, new business. What am I looking at? 2023-15-5, 5 Foxen Road, site plan.
Good evening, Jim Preddy, Criscolo Engineering, 420 East Main Street, Branford, representing Mr. Colombo, who is also here in the audience with me tonight. So this property at 1-5 Foxen Road has the existing Colombo trucking business on it in the rear of the property. The front has a multi-tenant building that was built some years ago. This part of the, in the yellow here in the back is the existing trucking business. There was a house that had some office space and was attached to the building. Was taken down recently. The plan is to build an addition pretty much exactly where that house was. So it would be more commercial garage space and some more office space on the second floor. There are, in the plans that were submitted, some architectural versions of what the addition will look like, which I believe you have. This has been reviewed by the town engineer. There's an existing drainage system that we'll be tying into. We're kind of swapping roof areas. The old house and the additions were almost the same size as the addition that is there now. The addition is 4,800 square feet, I believe it. The other buildings were like 4,600. The existing pavement will remain. This is all gravel around the backside of the building, so none of that's going to really change. They'll be able to drive in and out and get around the building like they do now. Part of the other back and forth with the town engineer was because we are in a flood zone here, we had to deal with making sure we had the floor at a certain elevation because we had to, this is this area where the flood water surface elevation is determined by the sections, so we had to do some interpolation and come up with the flood elevation. But again, I went over that with the town engineer. He's happy now with where we have the floor elevation, and we meet all the floodplain issues as well.
Any questions? Do we have any, everything's meet your,
Yes,
the town
yes,
rules?
I did not write a staff report because it meets the zoning regulations, and we did raise the floor level of the building by half a foot,
Almost a foot, yeah.
almost a foot. How did the structure deal with the rainstorm last week?
So, David Palumbo, 5 Foxen Road. First, thank you for considering it, and thank you for your time. I happen to be in this building quite a bit for boards and commissions, as some of you know. So, you know, in the last, since 1994 was one of the bigger floods that we had. And then since then, we've done the drainage and retained all our water. As bad as it was last Sunday and Monday, you know, the Farm River flooded into our retention pond, but, you know, we escaped without any problems, quite frankly. You know, I was concerned because we had 6 inches of rain here in North Branford. So I think over the years, what we've done to improve the property has helped with any other floods that we've had. So I was happy to be not underwater.
Yeah. So the retention pond worked as designed?
Yeah, so the retention pond works, and that's what the water company actually loves about it. You know, when I bought that property back in '94, and right after that, we had, I don't remember what storm it was, we had bought the property, was in disarray. Many of you know me, I've been here my whole life. I've developed the property, put the front building in, gotten recognized through the town for, you know, the beauty of the front building, our background building, how we keep our property. We, you know, we take pride in what we do for our property, and the water company really, quite frankly, liked the idea of having that retention pond, you know, for their benefit as well. So, you know, it works better for them when the Farm River floods and doesn't go downstream and flood properties. So, thank you.
Thank you. Any questions?
They are, the water authority is the neighbor to the south, and that's why he mentions that. And they have reviewed it as part of this application. There was a couple of typical comments about not storing chemicals in the flood zone, that kind of thing, but they didn't have any substantive comments.
And like Mr. Peretti said, the existing structure that was there was about 4,600, we're putting 4,800 up.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't think we have any questions, anyone?
No, I'm set.
I want to make a motion to approve planning zoning application 2023-15, site plan request under section 23, schedule A, line C-14 for construction of a proposed new two-story garage office building attached to existing garage office building at 5 Foxen Road, assessor map 14, lot 8, zone B1, owner DNS Realty LLC, applicant James Peretti, PE, Chris Cooley Engineering LLC, as contained in submitted application documents and shown on plans entitled property located at number 1 and number 5 Foxen Road, North Branford, Connecticut, prepared by Chris Cooley Engineering LLC containing the following sheets. Sheet 1 of 1, proposed site plan modification dated December 4, 2023. Drawing number A-1 dated December 1, 2022. Drawing number A-2 dated December 1, 2022. Drawing number A-3 dated December 1, 2022. And drawing number A-4 dated December 1, 2022. With the standard conditions 1C, 2, 4, 7, 8, 9, 15, 17, and special condition 1C, that a financial guarantee for,
I don't
no?
think we need to read the whole.
All right,
There are no special conditions.
all right.
Second?
Okay. I'm also going to vote in the affirmative. I think it fits right into our town of North Branford development and a tax base.
I want to stay in town, so.
And I want to thank you for building on the North Branford side as opposed to that other town.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you very much, and I wish all of you a happy holiday.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
There you go. There you go.
Okay, it looks like we have application 2023-16, 524 Forest Road, zoned I2, it's industrial. The site plan?
Yes. Good evening again. Jim Preddy, Criscola Engineering, 420 East Main Street in Branford. This is the existing facility at 524 Foxen Road, Forest Road, sorry. Suncon Properties, or SPDI, operates out of here. The Gannons are actually here tonight. So the plan is to leave the existing building. There's an existing coverage structure that's on the property now that'll get moved somewhat. And then we're going to create a driveway down to a lower portion of the site and put up another building that's about 8,100 square feet, I believe, or 8,000 square feet for more of their, the use for the facility. Storage of materials, some assembly, I think storage of some of their company vehicles. This has gone through the Wetland Commission already, given the proximity to the Farm River and the setbacks and things required with that. We did provide and went into detail about the drainage system, a new septic system for both buildings. Their products are oil recovery products and for a variety of uses, but one of the things they do make are catch basin inserts to separate oil and other things from the drainage flow stream. They will be using them on site here. I believe that we had submitted as part of the package, the information on those. There was a number of comments that came out of the original meeting with wetlands from commission and from staff. Quite a few of them actually had to do more with zoning than wetlands, but we had addressed them all at the time, so the plans that you have now have actually addressed staff comments in both wetlands and zoning nature. We are providing all the parking that is required by the zoning regulations. We meet the setbacks. We did get a variance for front setback at some point because we were going to do an addition to the building. That doesn't really apply here now because instead of addition, we're doing this new building, but it still exists. There's a piece of a retaining wall here that facilitates the grading down the side of the driveway. We've provided landscape plan, lighting plan. There's some architectural plans, and I entertain any questions or
How big is
concerns.
the building? Was it 8,000 square feet?
8,000 square feet.
What's happening with the building up by the road to the north? Is that the?
This one?
Yes.
That's that cover structure that's staying. It's just, it's getting relocated
It's moving further to the west.
further in to the middle of the site, yeah.
And the town engineer's comments from November 20th have been met or have been reviewed in terms of painted arrows on the driveway.
Yeah, I believe
Familiar
we,
with that?
I believe we addressed,
I know we went through this plan probably 3 iterations at
Yeah.
the Wetlands Commission
That's where the
to
school is.
get it to work.
there was questions about sidewalks and dumpsters and all kinds of stuff that we addressed on the plans, yes.
No, that's coming up next.
The thing we were waiting for the lag in between, there was a couple of things that had to get worked out, but one of the things was the lighting plan. More recently, I was waiting for it, but that's part of the package now too.
Say that again?
The lighting?
The lighting plan was the last thing we were waiting for
Right.
to submit, because this went through wetlands in May or June.
Good.
Being old, I can say this. Give me some landmarks around there. I'm trying to,
The old Chat and Choose across the street?
Yeah, the deli was across the street, it was the Chat and Chew or Route 22 Deli or type of number of names.
is that the old Silly Putty? No, not Silly Putty. Bondo Factory?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Now you're dating yourself.
Okay, that being the case,
I can, I make a motion to approve, application number 2023-16, 524 Forest Road, I-2 zone. Site plan request under section 23, schedule A, line C18 for the addition of a proposed new 80 by 100 foot building containing walls, relocated coverage structure, parking, site lighting, stormwater management, and associated site work. Owner, Syncom Properties, William Gannon. Applicant, James Preddy, P.E., Criscoli Engineering.
I'll second.
before we, I know it's probably not Robert's rules, but does this constitute the site plan without what's the building gonna look like?
There are architectural plans as well, it was in the
They
packet.
were in there,
Did I miss it?
Towards the back.
I didn't show them, but you do have them.
in the back.
Okay, flip it up and that way it'll show on the camera out in TV land.
No.
This is the floor plan, open space with some, a small mezzanine area in the corner. There's the elevations are on the last page. Pretty simple building. The corner area where the small offices does have quite a few windows because there's kind of a nice view of the river in the back there.
The building is probably 20 feet below the road level.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you won't see much of it at all from the road.
We can see it at all, basically, yeah.
There's a 23-foot drop from back to our building.
Yeah.
Where that building would be.
In fact, with the landscaping that's in, once it kind of matures, you won't see it at all. Not from the road, anyway.
And there is some landscaping in front of the cover it building on Forest Road, right?
There is currently, some of that will get relocated. There is the access to it has been moved because it got rotated, so the access in the front, so, but there'll be some other.
Right, but there is some landscaping in front of that cover
Yes, there is, yeah.
right now that will be maintained, right?
Correct. And we moved those trees. We want to cut the trees down, so we'd rather move them. Get underneath them.
Right.
Yeah, they're gonna-
Position.
Right.
And you did well with the little rain we had a couple of days ago.
We did.
Okay, I'm good.
Yeah, this site's kind of tiered and they're not down low enough to get into trouble with the river, but, you know, the river kind of rose everywhere in town, but this building's up high enough where
Yeah.
it's not an issue.
I vote yes also.
So we made a motion.
Second.
Paul made a second.
All in favor?
All right.
Opposed? None? It passes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have application 2023-20654 Foxen Road, the old 49 Computer Road, North Branford High School site modification.
Good evening. My name is Carson Collier. I'm with QA&M Architecture. We are the architecture firm that designed the high school and is currently supervising the construction that's ongoing. In conjunction with the Board of Ed and the Permanent Project Building Committee through the town of North Branford, we were requested to make an amendment to the overall site plan, redesigning the north parking lot, which was initially outside of our scope of work, to bring that closer to the new facility, as well as making some improvements to overall circulation on the site, kind of creating less turns for buses to navigate coming from the Caputo Road entrance, as well as aligning that overall road with the existing Caputo Road entrance and exit to the project site at this point. So in the application, we have the landscape plans, grading, drainage plans, as well as site lighting improvements and planting improvements as well that are being proposed. So I have my team here from FHI Studio and Benesh, our landscape architect and civil engineers respectively, if you guys have any questions related to the revisions being proposed.
Do they want to make a presentation or?
So we don't have a formal presentation. The site plan really is kind of a one-for-one swap in location between the grass field that you see within the overall plans. What you'll see there, the existing north parking lot, which was left untouched, kind of was at the farthest most extent of the project site, with a grass field kind of dividing the new parking lot that was part of the original project and that existing lot. Essentially, what is being proposed here, it kind of flip-flops those two, bringing parking closer to the actual school itself.
So when you pull in the existing now, to your left where the containers are, you want to
Yep.
make that grass?
Correct.
And then just continue that parking lot all the way up to the school?
Correct. Yep. So as you can see from the site plan there, we do have kind of a snow shelf from a grass barrier for facilities and maintenance, just to have somewhere to push the snow. That way you don't have a massive sea of parking that you can't maintain throughout the years as well.
Yeah, I've been following this also, and basically it's a swap from a ball field in a parking lot. So it's a safety issue. It's an ease for the buses to travel around, and it's a safety all the way around.
When I was looking at it, I seen where you wanted to put the grass. My question was, when the buses come and drop the players off and stuff, is there a spot for them to park while they're waiting for the kids to play, or would that be a better spot for them to park out of the way?
So it could be. We haven't factored in kind of
You know what I'm saying? 'Cause
standing parking spaces for buses for actual athletic games. There is plenty of parking areas elsewhere on site that once that new access road is created, the buses could relocate remotely. They don't have to be right next to the fields. They can be in front of the intermediate school parking lot area kind of, off to the side. That way, you still have maximized your parking capabilities right by the athletic field for any visitors or spectators that are attending.
So that's basically, so when you go down the road that's there now, all the way to the right, all the way to the schools, will be just parking?
Correct, yeah, I think if you...
I've seen some islands and stuff like that, but the rest of it is all parking.
Yeah, so the previous roadway, the existing roadway, if you're familiar with the site before construction started, kind of bordered the western side of the site up against the residential properties.
Yeah.
That's still maintained as kind of a maintenance-only access road. The new through access road is going to be more on the wetland side, closer to the athletic fields.
Okay.
So what this revision does, it kind of aligns that roadway with the Caputo Road entrance, where our previous submission jogged down towards that west-hand access road first, and then took a left through some parking areas. So again, safety was a huge consideration here. So it reduces excess amount of traffic through a parking area where students are going to be slated to park, per the administration from the discussions we've been having.
Any questions?
I looked at it, looked good.
So I've run this by the Inland Wetlands Commission. There are some other changes to the plan further to the south in front of the high school, near the wetlands, where there was a sidewalk area that went out to the wetlands originally to sort of do an ecological study of the wetlands, which was changed again to allow sort of a sidewalk that went closer to the wetlands. And now it's been changed again so that there's a sidewalk in front of the wetlands and the road is slightly wider.
Correct. So there is an additional, or I'm going to call it an extension of that walking surface. So what it does, we do have a crosswalk right in front of that north side entrance to the existing part of the school that's currently constructed. So the request has been, and what students are currently using is just kind of a crushed gravel stone walkway to gain access from that north parking lot currently while it's in operation to the school. So the request was to keep that access on the wetland side. That way students have free access to the fields. That's a little bit more localized to a secured entrance point to the high school.
So there are changes to the drainage situation in the northern area, clearly, because now you have parking moving to the south and the field moving to the north.
Yep.
Have you thought of any low-impact design drainage activities as opposed to putting everything in pipes?
At this point in time, I think water mitigation and control on the site, because it is a pretty wet site from all of our previous research and everything. So towards the north, you do have an existing wetland area. And then that is currently in an RCP that goes under the fields, finds its way towards the east side of where our high school is currently located. So I think the overall hope here on site was to find ways to control that and not collect stagnant water, because there already is kind of the presence of that within the existing wetlands that we have on site. And as part of the initial application, we did enhance the wetlands kind of around the softball field areas that were part of that to kind of reclaim it in an area that's not as heavily populated, where students are going to be interacting.
Would you be interested in interacting with the town engineer and the town planner in terms of creating some low-impact design drainage facilities that might even make the project cheaper and more effective?
Absolutely. I mean, we are always open to kind of collaborating with town engineers, municipalities, whatever this kind of commission is looking for. We're open to further discussions with that. I think this is just kind of the initial step where, from an overall redesign standpoint, we were trying to kind of just relocate one for one in regards to what the initial application had shown. But that can be further discussed if there are additional concerns or suggestions.
And I think we may have seen some interactions between the sewer line and the drainage lines and how that's actually working itself out. I know that was a concern for the town engineer, that there are some drainage structures right where the sewer line is.
Right.
So those details should be worked out between the town staff and you guys.
Yep.
Carson,
Yeah.
we have spoken to the town engineer.
Oh, but yeah, Phil, if you want to come up and,
What's your projected date of completion roughly?
for the high school itself,
The high school part?
the high school is targeting fall of 2024. That's its current state.
That's all phases.
That's all the phases.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that would include all site work and everything pending, so.
My name is Jesse Dupont, civil engineer from Benesh. We have spoken to, or been coordinating with the town engineer. We submitted a stormwater report following the Connecticut's stormwater guidelines, maybe less than a month ago. Can't remember the exact date. We are concerned with the existing drainage. We are following the storm patterns. We are putting actually more into our hydrodynamic separators as well. Another thing, there is a big 42-inch pipe that's running through that existing lot right now. So what we are doing to put some water quality in there, if that was part of your question, is 3-foot sumps, because a hydrodynamic separator through a 42-inch pipe would be quite expensive. But overall, yes, we are reusing some of the structures, replacing the frames, but the locations of the structures we are reusing. And then we are putting more in through our hydrodynamic separators as well. If that was part of your concern about the existing drainage and how this new proposed addition is going to be affecting that, I believe.
Right, I was just thinking that there'd be some areas for drainage to be located within some of the islands in the parking lot as opposed to right next to them, so we could do some more,
Sure.
Water separation prior to the water getting into the pipes.
Sure.
It seems like an easy solution.
Yep.
Should have been done in the front of the high school to start with, and if we can pick up on that, it would be great.
Sure.
And I think just sort of the interrelationship between the sewer line, I'm not quite sure if we know exactly the height of the sewer line versus the height of the stormwater lines and how that
Yes, sir.
reacts. As it enters the wetlands, there are the 3 culverts
Yep.
before the wetlands, right in that area. It seems as though the sewer line is right in that same spot.
Yes, sir, it is. Yep. That is a concern. So, that's all I have. So, any other questions on that? I don't know.
No, I think as long as the staff can work with you guys and the building committee to
Absolutely.
enhance the project, that would be a plus for the town.
Yeah.
Sir. Thank you.
The other question I would have is, if you relocate the driveway, we know the property is a swamp. When you refer to it as a driveway, I have a driveway at my house. This isn't a real driveway. We have heavy buses loaded with kids, dump trucks plowing, and heavy equipment rolling through there. So what is the specs for a driveway in a swamp?
Phil, I'll let you kind of chime in on this one.
Take it from where the driveway is now, to where it's not done? So you're wanting where the driveway is to get in now, you're gonna move that or just widen it?
No, so anything from the roadway, so coming off of Caputo Road, that entrance point, we are pretty much just taking the path of vehicular travel straight across going towards the athletic fields, connecting to the new through road. I refer to it as a drive lane because that is the through driveway kind of connecting from Caputo Road to Foxen Road. But that is the new through traffic kind of direction at that point that goes along the wetlands.
That's the road that's closed now, right?
Correct. Yep.
Hi, my name is Phil Barlow. I'm a landscape architect with FHI Studio. So you're right, it's not a driveway, it's more like a roadway. So we do have geotechnical engineers who looked at the soils there. They came up with a recommendation for the roadway profile. And if I remember correctly, it's 18 inches of stone underneath the driveway. So that compensates for those wet soils and allows that to be buildable.
I just needed information.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Good question.
Does the planning and, the planning, does the town engineer and town planner have questions that need to be addressed prior to or voting on this?
I don't think so. Did we get an answer on the time frame as to when you want to get into the parking lot and the ball field?
So the current projected schedule for construction is slated to be completed fall of 2024.
No, but when you want to start?
So this is the initial kind of step. We still need to kind of move forward and go for the pricing exercise. But the building committee and the Board of Ed didn't want to move forward on any kind of pricing exercise until the Planning and Zoning Commission kind of signed off on an overall plan to make sure that we're encompassing any additional scope that may be requested as part of that.
This is the ground floor, and then the next step is to actually see what you need to do.
So if we waited until our January 4th meeting, I think it's January 4th, first Thursday of January, which is 2 weeks away or something, would that be a hindrance?
Obviously, I think we are always going to push for kind of expediency because it is a fairly significant revision to track down costs and everything. But if this board feels that they need to kind of have more buy-in, need more time, if you have additional questions, feedback for us, we're open to it. That's perfectly fine.
I mean, you could always put conditions on it that says to work with the engineer and town planner to try to implement low-impact design features.
Okay.
Does that sound doable?
Yep. We can engage and have those conversations kind of furthered from the town standpoint. Yep.
I mean, I think we have some comments that it's taken us, we've been busy, so it's taken us a while to get to it. But I think over the next couple weeks, we can.
I guess what I'm hearing is this is a feasibility request, so you can go back to the permanent project committee, give them a cost to see if you're going to do it or not. So I mean, it's are you in the design phase? Are you in feasibility or implementation?
Correct. So what we have presented here is an application for a revision to the overall site plan, our initial application. The north lot was not part of our initial scope, so this is kind of in addition to the initial application that we have. But this is the future planning for this site. This has been what we've been requested to develop this site plan as kind of the means to move this overall site development forward. So the hope is that these revisions can be encumbered into the construction project itself, where it may be eligible for additional reimbursement from the state, which is why we're trying to encumber it as part of the overall project if the budgets permit. But I think there's been significant kind of support behind this from the building committee standpoint that this is a safety concern. So I think this is long-term how they would like to see the site further developed at this point. The revisions proposed don't actually affect the current construction or site plan layout that was previously submitted. This is just in addition onto that to improve kind of site circulation from a safety standpoint.
And I think there are some savings that they're realizing by changing the construction and changing the maintenance in terms of the plowing one big lot rather than 2 lots. And I think in the future there's savings that people have mentioned to me that this is it's just a much better plan than having a parking lot and a practice field and another parking lot. It's
Absolutely.
sort of
One would be like
ludicrous to start
into a
with.
dead lot.
Yeah.
And my only concern is that let's be creative while we're doing it as opposed to not being creative.
Yes, ma'am. I would say move forward with discussion. Right?
I'm sorry.
Move forward with discussion.
Yeah. An engineer already looked at this, right, Dave? The engineer already looked through this?
We've looked at it, but we really haven't looked at it thoroughly. Again, there's that the sewer pipe and the storm water drainage are interrelated, and we don't really know.
So it sounds like it's subject to change a little bit.
What?
It sounds like they're so subject to change.
Yeah, no, the pipes could move a little bit, but whenever you get into the field and get into construction, things always move a little bit because you don't necessarily know everything.
Right.
Or, in fact, you don't know everything.
Until you start digging.
Until you start digging.
And currently they have items up, like we can easily get to it now, which is why the hope is to kind of build momentum for this during the construction phase. That way you're not having to redo work at a later time. That's kind of the sense of urgency from the building committee's thought process here as a cost savings to the town overall.
And then if you can incorporate in the project now, like you said, you can get more funding, it's easier to.
Correct, that's what we would be hoping to do from a reimbursement
That
standpoint.
definitely makes sense.
So,
I see this as, it needs to be done.
Yeah.
And I'm also seeing that, seeing how this is a modification, Dave, you should be involved in, like you were saying, the drain pipes, the sewer pipes, that type of thing. Am I
Well,
correct, or is it the engineer, or?
In our regulations, modifications don't necessarily have to go to the commission unless they change the parking calculations of the project. So theoretically, the zoning enforcement officer, town planner, engineer could have approved this without coming back to the commission. However, it's a rather major change, and it's always incumbent upon me to bring it back to you guys to review it, because I think it's major, even though it doesn't change the number of parking spaces required. I would be happy enough to have you approve it with a condition that the Permanent Project Building Committee, the applicant, works with the town planner and the town engineer to implement some low-impact design features into the project.
Yeah.
I mean, low-impact design helps the infiltration of pollutants into the soil prior to reaching the wetlands. You have a major wetland that this whole parking lot is draining into, that proceeds to drain into a 3-4 acre wetland area on the site, that then drains to Burr Brook, that then drains to the Farm River, that then drains to your drinking water. Whatever we can do to improve that filtration, we should do. And it doesn't cost anything.
Well, I move to approve planning and zoning application number 2023-20, site plan modification request under 23, Schedule A, line B1, for a redesign of the north parking lot at the North Brantford High School at 654 Foxen Road, aka 49 Caputo Road, Assessor Map 23, Lot 25, Zone R40, owner, Town of North Brantford, applicant, Scott Schoonemaker, Superintendent of Schools, as contained in submitted application documents and shown on plans entitled North Brantford High School, 654 Foxham Road / 49 Caputo Road, revised to November 17, 2023. With the following standard conditions: 1C, 2, 4, 7, 8, 9, 15, and special condition if applicant to work with engineer and town planner to implement low-impact design features.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
It's carried.
Did you
Card on-
want to put a condition in there about the low-impact design? Or the engineer?
Yeah, I put it as a special condition, work with engineer and town planner to implement low-impact design features.
Okay, and maybe we should mention the town engineer's memorandum of November 30th. Which mentions.
Yeah, in standard condition 15, I'll make an amendment, adherence to the requirements of the town engineer in his memorandum dated November 30th, 2023.
Good.
Carried.
front, I'm looking at the request, item D on our agenda. Request for a new street number for Chickarelli's Harrison Hill Farm on Middletown Avenue to be known as 1591 Middletown Avenue.
So currently, this lot is known as, I believe it's one of the 0 Middletown Road rear lot on the assessor's database, so there's no physical address associated with the lot for safety purposes or mail purposes or emergency purposes. It's not an unnormal request, and it's pretty simple. They want a number.
So this is, I don't even know.
This is the
not
large
this is not
field
the Mill-
behind the Mill Pond Tavern.
Right. The Mill Pond Tavern has its own number,
Correct.
and if there's a situation where, let's say, a farm tractor flipped over, someone got hurt, and they called 911,
Correct.
we couldn't find it.
Correct.
I think for safety reasons, we need to at least put one number on it. It is a lot, correct?
It's a legal lot.
It's a legal lot, so the legal lot should have a number.
It's connected to the farm? connected
It's
to the
not,
farm right now?
it's not connected to the farm, no.
Who owns it, the farm?
Yes. Chickarelli owns it.
I'm gonna just abstain from the voting on this one, because I'm not 100% familiar, so does that affect, because there's only 2 years?
Say that again?
I'm just gonna abstain from the voting on that.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure I understand it. I understand what you're saying, I just wanna, I looked into everything, but this one here I didn't look into, I just wanna look into it a little more.
Yeah, we can't really vote on it.
I'm just gonna just table it to the next meeting, whatever's easier.
We can table it.
We can
Sure.
table it, it's just numbering a lot.
Just a number.
Yeah.
Do we need a motion to table it?
Sure.
I'll make a motion to table it.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
And we thought that would be the easy one.
It is.
When I looked at it, that's what I thought.
That's a nothing. Okay. Other business?
Did we have the adoption of the 2024 meeting schedule,
I saw that.
which is basically the first and the third of the month, except for December, when we only have one meeting, and in July, when we only have one meeting. You thought I should do July 1st, right?
Yeah.
No, July 4th, July 11th, and one meeting in August.
Oh, there you go. Yes.
So, somebody can make a motion.
Yeah. I'll make a motion to approve the North Bradford Planning and Zoning Commission meeting schedule for the 2024 calendar year.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Zoning regulation updates, do we have any, or?
I'm working on some.
Okay.
As usual. January 4th, I don't remember what we have, but we do have a few items. And we will be continuing the public hearing on the zoning regulation change. But I think we got through everything else tonight.
I think so, too.
Pretty good job.
Normally I handle this, but I have to delegate it out.
I make a motion for adjournment.
I'll say that Ron's done a really good job of running the meetings tonight.
Yes, I thought.
He was nervous about it.
On a timely fashion, too.
On a very timely fashion, yes.
Yes, you did a great job.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We stand adjourned. So say us all.
What about happy birthday? Isn't it somebody's birthday?